Good morning, guys. Welcome back to math. Today you're going to need your workbook. We're going to do some work with division story problems. You are going to open up to page T8. It is right next to page 156, but if you take a look, you can see that they're very different. We do not want 156 yet, so please make sure you are on the page that looks like this, the T8. There's quite a few of them in a row, so it doesn't matter which one you're on, but please do not write on this page yet. This is for later on today. So once again, we're on one of the many T8s in your journal, which is after page 156. So today we're going to work on some division story problems. Division can be solved using multiplication. I'll show you what I mean. Let's get the problem here. Okay, you do not have the paper that has the story problems on it, only I do, so don't worry about that. You just need your workbook. So, Jason and his little brother have been collecting plastic toy dinosaurs for a couple of years. In all, they have 252 dinosaurs. Today, they decided to arrange their whole collection into columns of 12. How many columns were they able to make? So, they have 252 dinosaurs that they're trying to divide into, split into groups of 12. So there are lots of different strategies you can use to try and solve this, and I'm going to walk you through a couple of them for the first one. So we can use the ratio table, which we use quite often, and it's pretty easy to do so, right? You have one column, number of dinos, which would be 12. Oh, sorry guys, my goodness. And we're trying to get to 252, so how many columns would that be? The other thing that you have on this sheet of paper is a ton of grids. So you could very easily draw out the same thing. I'm going to use a marker because it's going to be easier to see on my paper than it would be. So here's 10, 11, 12. And then you're just going to try and figure out how many would that be to be able to fit all of them in there, right? So same thing as using this strategy up here. So if I did 10 groups of that, whoops. All right, 10 groups of that 12. That would give me 120. This is zoom in a little bit actually. So then I could keep going and keep adding groups into that. And then you have the figuring box where you could do your different pieces. So pulling in the 10 times 12 gave me the 120 box. So I want you to pause here and use whatever strategy you want. If you want to draw it out, fantastic. If you want to use the ratio table, super. But solve this problem and then push play and we'll see what you did. Okay, so I'm a fan of the ratio table. It just keeps things so together and clean. If you drew a picture, that's fantastic. I'm just going to start here. So then 10 groups for 120. That's pretty close. I'm going to go 20 groups. Gets me to 240. Oh, guess what? 21 groups. There's 2, 5, 2. So is 21 columns. Okay, so then over here, I'm just going to redraw the whole thing actually. We have 10, 11, 12, 12, and then we did that for 10, 2, 3, do, by 10. That was 120. So then, probably doubled that a second time. But together, that's 20 groups. So that's 240. And then add your one more group, 1, 2, or however you drew it, right? As long as you got beautiful pictures somehow drawn out there. Maybe you don't have pictures at all because you just use a race table. Everything is fantastic, right? So there's one more group, so your answer is 21. Look, you solved division and you didn't even break a sweat. Good job, guys. Okay, so let's do it again. So turn the page, and you're gonna see you have more T8 pages. You can't tell because I'm super zoomed in, but there's another blank one. Okay, second problem. Hurrah. The kindergartners in Mr. Esperara's class counted out to find out they have 368 alphabet blocks. Cam and Jamie decided to arrange the blocks in stacks of 16. How many stacks were they able to make? Again, division problem. You have this many pieces and you're trying to put it into stacks or piles or columns or groups. So you have 368 letter blocks. They're dividing into, they're putting into, they're spreading out, arranging into stacks of 16. So how many stacks can they make? Again, you can use the ratio table or you can draw a picture, your choice, but I want you to give that problem a try. All right, so we know that one stack has 16. How many stacks in 368? That's really far away. Holy moly. So let's go 10 for 160. 20. 16 is 32. Where are we at? We're pretty close. If I add another 10, that's going to go way over. So I'm at 20, they're at 60. I'm gonna guess about 2 more groups. So 2 is 32. So 22. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 3. Oh, nope, I'm not quite there yet, but I bet you this is 23. 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 3, yep, 23. So 23 stacks. Okay, and you might have drawn out the same kind of thing, or you drew out whatever made your heart content if you draw something out. Lots of boxes. Ugh. See why we don't use markers? Look, it already bled through and I'm using a highlighter. Oh well. 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, and then there's 16 by 10, 160. I'm not gonna keep drawing because you might have drawn something way different. But just kind of walking through what I did up there, but you don't actually have to do both. But you might have drawn a picture. And I bet it's a lovely picture. As long as we land at the 23 stacks, you did a good job. Okay, oh, just kidding. Next one. So, flip your book over. Yep, look, there's another blank one. It's amazing. And, getting a little squishy here. Okay. Yelena and her sister Tasha dumped out their whole penny collection on the floor and counted them. They have 336 pennies in all. Tasha decided to arrange them in columns of 14. How many columns was she able to make? More division. There are 336 pennies divided into arranged into columns of 14. So how many columns? Table, or draw a picture, or whatever method you're going to use to solve that, and then push play. All right, so we have one column is 14. How many for 336? So that's pretty far away. I'm going to go to 2 first for 28, then go to 20. I'm still pretty far off. Let's go to 30. Because I know 10, right, would just be putting a 0 to the back. So 0 and 0 is 0. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 3, 4, 5. Uh-oh. 2, 3, 4. All right, overshot it a little bit. So let's pull 5 in. So half of 40 is 20. Half of 100 is 50, 50, 60, 70. So I'm going to pull 20 and 5 together. 280. Probably what the figuring box is for at the bottom, but you can't see both. So we're going to do it up here. 0, so I already know I'm kind of off because I need a 6 at the end. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, well, I'm not super far off. So this is 25 columns. So I'm just going to subtract 14. This would give me 24 columns. 4, 10. There we go. 10 minus 4 is 6. 4 minus 1 is 3. And 3. So my answer is 24. That's the downside of them giving you a pre-made column, because I overshot by a lot. So, but we kept track of it. And you maybe made a beautiful picture that didn't overshoot like I did on the ratio table. That's the upside of drawing the picture. That you don't overshoot so much. All right, last one here. All right, there are 555 students at Kennedy Elementary School. The tables in their cafeteria hold 24 kids each. If all the kids come into the cafeteria at once for a big assembly, how many tables will it take to seat them all? This is still division. Oh, turn the page. Oh, maybe we don't get to turn the page. If you're drawing pictures, there's a huge base 10 grid paper here. So we'll just use that. If you're using a ratio table, just right over top. So, still division, because you have 555 students and they're being put at tables. And each table holds 24 kids, so how many tables do they need? Pause and solve. If you're doing a ratio table, you have lots of room now. If you're drawing a picture, you have lots of room. Okay, so I am a fan of the ratio table. One table is 24. Can you see that? Oh, good. We're trying to get to 555. Okay, so 10 is 240. So then that's pretty close. I'm going to double that. 20 is 480. That's pretty close. Because I think 5 is going to be too much, right? So half of 40 is 20. Half of 200 is 100. That's going to be too much, so that's clearly not it. So let's do 2 is 48. So let's do 22 and see where we land. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 528. So now I'm just going to go up by 1. Plus 24, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 2, 4, 5. 5. Wait a second. Each table holds 24. This would be 23 tables. Look how close I am. I'm not going to get exactly this number. But if I say 23 tables, that means 3 kids have to stand for the entire assembly. Now, some kids might be okay with that. But we want to make sure that there's a seat for everyone. So you're actually going to need 24 tables. And you're going to have seats left over. You're going to have empty seats. Because it's not going to be even. And that's okay. Same thing happens if the problem is talking about going on a trip and needing seats in a car. You always want to round up to the next group because you don't want to leave anyone behind. Like if this was a bus trip and the whole school's going on assembly field trip, then 3 kids are being left behind because there's not enough seats. So you always want to round up to the next group, even though you're going to have an empty number of seats left behind. So I told you you're going to need page 156 and to not color on it. So I want you to go back to page 156 and let me tell you what you're going to do with this page. So you are going to pick one of these combinations. You're going to write a story problem to match it. And then, I'm not giving you a ratio table. You can solve your own ratio table. And then you're going to solve it. So, 1, pick a combination. Pause and do that now. Like, pick a combination so I can get rid of this paper. Got it? Okay. So first you picked your combo. You picked your equation. 2 write a matching story problem. 3 solve it. If you want to solve it using a picture, fantastic. If you're going to solve it using a ratio table, super. You can solve it however way you wish. I'm going to give you an example using a division combination, a division equation that is not one of those 4, so you can see how to write a story problem. I'm going to do 12 divided by 6. You can't use this problem. You have to use one of the 4 that I already showed you. But I'm going to use it as an example. So a story problem to match. This first number, that big number, is the number of pieces of something that you have. So call it whatever you want. Cars, lip glosses, cookies, elephants, trombones, cups. I don't care. Call it something. Right? The first number is the number of something that you have. Then someone or something is going to need to divide it, put it, arrange it, stack it, store it, box it, bag it, I don't care. Some verb. So here's your, ready? Here's your pieces of something. This is a verb. Stack, arrange, divide, box, bag, something, some verb. And this is your groups. So into groups, into columns, into containers, into whatever you're going to do. So you need to have these 3 pieces in your story problem. So Sally had 12 puppies. She needed to put them into 6 cages Don't forget you need a question at the end. All right, so how many can go in each cage? Right, so let's check. I have pieces of something. Nailed it. Pieces of something. I've got 12 puppies. I've got a verb. In this case, I'm using put. Fantastic. And I've got 6 groups of something. Yep, I've got 6 cages. Nailed it. Is there a question at the end? I don't want to go through all this work and then not give them a question to solve, because otherwise it's just a sentence and not a story problem, right? So this question mark here, how many can go in each cage? So 12 divided by 6, how many in each cage? Gives you 2. Okay, so that's your job now. You're going to do that, and then you're going to do page 157. So you have to flip past all of the grid pages we did in the lesson today, and do that and this as your independent practice. Make sure to turn both of these in so we can see how you're doing with story problems. All right, I'm going to zoom out a little bit here so you can see it all. If you need to pause, do so now, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.